Here we go. Well, it would probably help if I actually captured the Dawn 5 window. Let's see here. There we go. Nice and captured. Perfect. All right. Full wraparound. And let's turn on some music, some more classical. There we go. We'll do medium, few water, full wraparound. Test game. Early ages. And for this little test, we'll do 3 AIs, all land, and we'll put them at master to mirror the game that we just played today. And I will be early age Vanheim, because that's what I'm going to play tomorrow in the 3v3 Blitz. It will be me, Carl, and myself, Carl, and Chazzy Burger against Scipio, the Gook, and let's see here, against Scipio, the Gook, and Derikari. And they will be playing Ulm, Rus, and Helheim against our team of Vanheim, Mictlan, and Hinam. So for now, I'm going to go ahead and try to replicate the blessing that we're going to for, even though there might be some of the enemy team spying on us. So let's see here. Here we go. We're going for a full rainbow blessing with some high nature for regeneration. Oops, not reinvigoration. We're going for fire and shock resist. Magic weapons. Undying ×3. Regeneration. And now in the multiplayer we wouldn't have just blood 3 because Mictlan is going to be our god and get some extra bloodless points, so I'm just going to have to settle with 3 blood, so I'll just take some strength off the flesh here. Death, Misfortune 2, and Drain. And some Dominion, 6. Can actually afford more blood, so let's take Blood Surge instead. There we go. And this is going to be an Awake Pretender. Who we'll just call Test Pretender, because he is not going to be with us for long. And we're gonna let the map take its sweet time generating everything. Here we go. Got ourselves a pretty nice north-south contiguous bit of land with a very narrow choke point between east and west that we'll probably try to seize immediately. Go ahead and scout in that direction actually. And have our first Vanheers become our prophet. Now the strength of early age Vanheim is these Vanheers. On the surface, they're basically a human unit with superior stats all around. On top of that, they're sacred, have 2 attacks, glamour, and the most important part, a berserk rating of +5. That means that as soon as they take damage in combat, they're going to get +5 to strength, attack skill, and defense skill, and protection. So these above average troops suddenly are going to become absolute close quarters monsters with 2 attacks as soon as their berserk activates. And they have ambidextrous, so they're not getting much of an attack skill penalty from having 2 weapons. So the core of our strategy is to get as many Vanheers as absolutely possible. We are going to want some other stuff though for research and leading armies. So with that in mind, going to go ahead and recruit a Dwarven Smith. And what have we got already? We got some Huskarls and Surf Warriors. So we'll get some extra Surf Warriors to pad out our army. And we'll put our big old monolith to research. Vanheim is very flexible with research. You have these guys, Air 1. They can't do too much in the ways of buffing. We can make them basically cloud trapezing thugs. Then we have our Air 2 Blood 1s, our main Vanjal thugs. Dwarven Smiths, Master Smith, so construction is a pretty good thing for Vanheim to have. And also they have pretty good random with, whoopsie daisy, yeah, there we go. With 2 earth and then cross paths in fire, air, more earth, or death. The Blessed Charles Rao is an awake pretender with a pretty heavy rainbow bless, as you can see. We have attack skill, magic weapons, shock resistance, fire resistance, cold resistance, defense skill, undying, regeneration, blood surge, and combat speed. This isn't quite accurate to the bless we're going to be running in the multiplayer tomorrow because we're having Mechlan as the pretender and Mechlan gets extra fire and blood bless points. But I'll just leave that a little secret for tomorrow. The main point is anyway that this is a pretty heavy bless, borderline hell bless with these scales. Anyway, and then we finally have the Vanadrots, Air 3, Blood 1 with randoms in Air, Earth, Death and Blood. Very good army-wide casters. So with that in mind, we'll probably want to start going straight for construction 2 so we can start making some basic thug gear for all of our vans. And let's go to turn 2. Looks like we have Lanka in the game as well. Now we have pretty shitty leaders, only 60 leadership, so we don't really want to have 2 units. We're gonna lose out on javelin attack, but I still think it's worth to go with just 2 arm units instead of 3 for the Vanheim expansion. They can't go line formation anyway, so we'll just have them in a big box up front with a smaller box of our sacreds at the side. And we'll tell them all to hold an attack closest. And we'll tell our leader to cast Blessing a bunch of times and then cast spells. I'll put him right behind these guys. And the reason to put your commander with a low... Actually, this is a priest level 3 because he's our prophet. So I sort of cocked this up. He just needs to cast a Divine Blessing once and he's done. So we'll put him back here instead. And I'll say the smart thing I was planning to say later. Let's see if we have any easy expansion targets. It looks like our Malicious and Light Infantries here is the easiest to go for on turn 1. So we'll do just that. We'll keep recruiting our Vanheers as well as our Dwarven Smith. It's gonna come out next turn. And our scout will keep going east. Pardon me one moment, someone's pinging me in Discord. Alright, there we go. Oopsie daisy, I need to get off the habit of clicking the battle report first when I'm streaming. This shouldn't be too hard anyway because Vanheim has a very easy expansion with glamoured units and the Sacreds are absolute meat grinders. Look at these Vanheers. Berserk hasn't even triggered yet and they already have 18 attack skill and 16 strength. These guys with one-handed weapons hit harder than most two-handers. And they have glamour and regeneration, so expansion, very easy. And indeed, no casualties. Now, since we're expanding well, we'll probably want a second expansion army, so we'll get a second Vanheers, even though it cuts into our secret production. And fill out with some Surf Warriors, just to fill the ranks. We got an Earth 3 random right away, which is nice, because that means that we can start getting Dwarven Hammers nice and early. Otherwise, important air buffs is air level 3 for Mist Form, that makes your thugs much more thuggy when you have air access. It reduces any damage by 1, with a maximum of 25 point damage reduction, and if any hit would have dealt 25 or more damage, it dispels the Mist Form. So this is basically invulnerability with rating of 24. So Alteration level 3, and then I think Enchantment, yes, Enchantment 4 for Cloud Trapeze, to give us the mobility we need to do deep strike raiding with our Vanheers. We'll keep scouting east. And we have some easy deer tribe to the south that also secures a choke point, so we're going to keep expanding in that direction. Oops. Deer tribe, pretty easy expansion to get human stats all around, slightly better defense skill, but for protection, so they still go down very easily. The only thing of note is that Deer tribe usually have a bunch of archers. So if you're afraid of taking some arrow fire, you shouldn't expand into them, otherwise completely safe. As we can see. We lost some of our Surf Warriors. These are our trash chaff, so it doesn't really matter. PD up, keep recruiting Vanheers. And then lament the fact that we are severely out of gold. And recruit a single Fabor. This is a very peculiar unit. On paper, their stats not great. They're size 3 tramplers, so they can trample basic human infantry, but they really want to be buffed with Enlarge. And on top of that, their stats are also kind of horrible. And they're also incredibly expensive at 100 gold. The upside is that these are immortal, so everyone that we recruit is going to get their gold value back sooner or later because they'll keep respawning in our capital every 3 months. So that's the reason why you might want to go growth 3 on Vanheim to mass out recruitment of Fadebors to do basically immortal armies fighting your enemies over and over. Now let's see what we have here. Heavy infantry slingers, hoplites and ekdromos. Heavy infantry slingers we should be able to take with this army. Let's just change our script slightly so that our vans are at the very front. And we'll have our second army with the blessing times 4 and an air shield cast, and then cast spells. Put these in a box formation up front. And our caster at the back. So, yes, hard counter to immortality. You got it, Jake. So, immortality will always respawn you at the capital unless you have something like Soul Slay hitting your troops, because Soul Slay will kill a creature and rip the soul out of their body, which prevents immortality. That's the most common counter to immortality. The second way to deal with immortality is to conquer the province that they respawn at. If any enemy takes Vanheim, then my Fadebors just can't respawn there anymore. Simple as that. And then there's a couple more niche options. I believe there's some items that have a on-hit effect of Soul Slay equivalents. So they can also deal with immortal units like that. Otherwise, Thaumaturgy level, let's see here, I believe it's 3. No? Oh, don't I look like the fool right now, looking for the right level of Thaumaturgy? There we go, Thaumaturgy level 5 for Slow Slay. Immortal beings killed by this spell will stay dead. So that's Thaumaturgy level 5, 3 Astral, and Astralations will usually have access to communions, so they can just set up a big communion and spam out Soul Slays to deal with immortals. Now let's see here. We have light cavalries, militias, heavy cavalries, horse tribe chiefs. 4, 5, 6, 7. I always say that it's safer to expand slowly but guaranteed than lose expansion parties. So we're gonna play it nice and safe. Just have this guy researching and not running to his potential death. A lost expansion party, after all, will not be gaining any future expansion for you. Yeah, just slingers, light infantry, and commanders. Nothing much to say here. Glamored infantry, even without being our sacred berserkers, can deal with this chaff quite easily. And indeed, we just took 2 casualties. Annoyingly enough, one of our sacreds. But hey, you can never count on expanding without any casualties at all. And it looks like we're already butting up with Lanka, unfortunately. Lanka is one of the scarier early age nations if you're running with a Hellbless, because they can Hellbless very hard with multiple recruitables and summonable sacred units. We also have juicy lion tribes next to them, so I'm going to be greedy and attack those. Because I want the income. I want that gold. Gotta get that gamer bread. And we lament the fact that we don't have enough gold to recruit another commander, but that's fine. We should definitely be able to expand with what we have here. Even with our shitty 60 leadership and a box formation, there should be more than enough to tackle most enemy types. And remember to attack and not sneak. Research, chugging along steadily. Let's go. And we're having a bump, it seems. Let's see how the independent battle went first. Lion tribe are, well, they're exactly like Machaca basic recruitable infantry. Humans with slightly better defense skill and no protection. And the archers, below average human archers. They're just terrible, terrible chaff. And our troops are going to chew through them accordingly without any problems. Yeah, some casualties from our chaff, no big deal. Now Lanka, however, oh dear, are coming in with quite the force. Let's see what this looks to be not their prophet, and their blessing is either dormant or imprisoned, because I don't believe that they have just mounted survival on their blessing. So it's good for us, but Palankashas, even without a blessing, are still pretty scary with a 27 damage Falchion. Falchion? Yeah. However you pronounce it. Scary units, indeed. 30 hit points, 12 protection, 12 defense skill, very high strength. They definitely can dish out the damage. Thankfully for us, Glamour is tough, so even when we lose, we should attrition them pretty decently. We took 3 Palankashas with us. And we kept our Vanhairs. Not a victory, but we did take as many with us as possible. And here is our small expansion force, and if I don't look like a complete fool now, this should be a very fine example of how Vanheim can expand with very small forces of Vans. Yeah. These Sacreds are just absolute blenders. This one has gone berserk, he has battle fright, but 18 strength, 20 attack skill, 16 protection. He hits like a two-hander barbarian. Yeah, Jake, early age Vanheim is a very good contender to one of the strongest nations in the game, definitely. I would personally put early age Helheim for a stronger nation than Vanheim, but that's only because they have better magic access in the mid to late game. Vanheim definitely has one of the 2 strongest sacred units in the entire early age. And that's between the Vans of Vanheim, Vanhairs I mean, and the Rephites of Hinam. I would put as the strongest overall recruitables of the entire early age. So that was a bump with the AI, which they shouldn't, hopefully, interpret as an attack. So we can just go back to pick up some more troops and then keep expanding as normal. What do we got here? Heavy infantry, light infantries. War elephants. Yeah. No. Yeah, we still got our 9 guys. I think we can take on some malicious heavy and light infantry. Vanhairs are pretty tough. And now that we have some gold to spare, we can also pick up another Vanhairs to lead expansion parties. Keep scouting, we got Kailasa over here, the enlightened apes. Although, to be fair to Fan, yeah, nations that can do small expansions are fantastic for the early game. But to be fair to Fan, Vanheim without any blessing is a bit rough. They may be glamoured and have great base troops, but without any blessing, they don't fight very well against other nations because they have really, really shit magic access. Vanheim basically only has access to air and blood. But with a good blessing, as you can see, they cut down the opposition like nothing else. Alright, we'll give our second Vanheers a similar blessing to the first. And have him go on to attack heavy cavalries. That's a bit threatening. Oh, we got a free PD event. Nice. 9 units, attack closest. Yeah, you are correct, Jake. However, when all you have for recruitable mages are Air 1, Air 2 Blood 1, and Air 3 Blood 1, and then random paths, at very high cost, you're not feeling great if you don't have a blessing. That's the reason why Vanheim isn't higher on my personal top 5 nations list. I think we're gonna play it risky here and go for the attack on these heavy cavalries. Yeah. And keep recruiting as many Vanheers as possible. Research. We have construction 2, so let's go ahead and make ourselves a Dwarven Hammer right away. We're going to need that for the future. And he sneaks back to friendly provinces. So this is an extreme example of a small expansion party of 9 units against a heavy cavalry province, normally pretty scary. But elves with a hell blessing can carry the day quite comfortably against most unit types, as we see. Lost 1, acceptable, especially against a heavy cavalry province. Got 2 kills for some reason. And then our other expansion force, going up against heavy infantry, should do just as well. And indeed they do. No casualty, 9 unit expansion. This is really, really nice. Vanheim probably has one of the easiest expansions in the early age, because being able to expand with 9 units like that is not common in any age. If you're playing like late age Lemuria, obviously you have an easy expansion, but Lemuria is often the odd one out when it comes to common rules. Now, this province, this farmland, isn't super heavily defended on its own, but we can expect that the next one probably is, so I'm going to go ahead and send both of my expansion parties there so they can link together and deal with whatever comes up next with a unified force. And since we have some gold left over, we're gonna go ahead and get a couple more Fabors, because since they're immortal, they are an investment for the future. And we'll give our dwarf the hammer and have him start crafting some miscellaneous useful items. Let's see, they come pre-equipped with iron cap, chainmail, cuirass, and a regular shield. So our Vanheers are perfectly reasonable thugs, even when completely naked. But we can make them better. So for now, let's start by monthly forging of braces of protection for them. can see my Blitz reflex is winning out there by just clicking the battle report button instantly. Our Sacreds, yet again, showing what amazing blenders they are by destroying everything in the first round of combat. No casualties, fantastic units. We'll go ahead and move all of them over to one unit and have them keep... Ooh. 40 heavy cavalries, militias and light cav. 17 Vanheims. Yeah, they should be able to do it. I'm gonna take the odds here. This is our prophet, so we'll give him our favors as well. And since the Fabors are immortal and they're just large enough to trample regular infantry, we'll have our regular infantry slightly further back with the Fabors in front with an attack closest order, so they can eat perhaps a lance charge or whatever. Again, we don't really care about what happens to them. And the most important thing, always keep up recruitment of Vanheim. These are entirely what carries Vanheim to being one of the strongest early age nations. And if you tune into tomorrow's Blitz, you can expect to see a lot of Vanheims. A lot of Vanheims. And again, some gold left over, so we'll recruit another Fabor. Research goals going. The boars are free, I believe. Let's check that. No, they're actually 80 gold per year. So, not entirely cheap. Comes out to, I think, let's see, 6 gold per turn. Which isn't inexpensive. That's about the same as a researcher on most nations. But, again, they are an immortal non-commander soldier, which has its value, especially for things like soaking cavalry charges and doing deep raiding without losing troops. When you take the recruit cost into account, they do pay for themselves usually by being reusable over and over again. Not my favorite unit though, I have to say. Only reason I would ever recruit these is because they're immortal. And here we have the heavy cavalry expansion that I'm feeling a bit iffy about. Thankfully, Glamour is a very powerful defensive trait that soaks up the lance charges nice and easily. And we only took 1 casualty against 13 heavy cav. Very nice. And this farmland is a fantastic choke point, so we're going to go ahead and recruit a mounted commander to build us a fortress and retreat. And then keep up recruitment. Now I could recruit a Vanadrot now, hope for a blood random so I can start my blood economy. However, then I won't have enough gold to start a fortress next turn, and I definitely want to start a fortress next turn. So instead, we're just going to recruit a single Vanheims and then save the rest of our gold. Ah, we got Rus here. Rus, also a pretty dangerous enemy in the early age. Blood is a heavy investment. The strengths in blood is that it gets stronger the longer the game goes on. Blood economy is completely decoupled from gold economy, and you can use it throughout the game to summon very powerful units like storm demons, Or let's see, Serpent Fiends. Horde from Hell. Yeah, there's a ton of really good blood summoning spells that calls above average, perhaps even good units, without ever having to touch your gold economy. And the longer the game goes on, the later blood rituals become stronger and stronger. Down at Blood 7, for example, Curse of Blood summons an immortal vampire lord, which is Blood 4, Death 4. It's an immortal Blood 4, Death 4. It's a perfect raider, built in. You don't need to give him any gear. It's a thug right out of the gate. And then when you get down to Blood 8 and 9, you have things like 3 red seconds to plop up a fortress anywhere instantly. And summoning a bunch of 10 plus Infernal Crusade Demon Knights. Yeah, 3 red seconds, very cool. Oh yeah, Citadel too. Important note. So, the thing with blood is, early game blood, bad. Just straight up bad. Like, early game, you can summon imps. They die, super easy. They can do some damage. You can do blood site searching. Whatever. Crossbreeding is cool if you're Abyssia, I guess. But early game blood, not good. Just straight up bad. But the later the game goes on, the more powerful blood becomes, especially because of how easy it is to get blood slaves compared to other gem types. So that's why I like to break into blood when I can. And if you can't break into blood, then whatever. Yeah, Blood Rain and Wailing Winds is a wonderful combo for breaking enemy armies. Oh, some more heavy cavalry here. Normally that would be dangerous, but we have a powerful blessing and very strong sacred troops. 1 casualty. Easy. So famine, province go down. So, we are running a very heavy blessing and bad scales. We have death 3. So, the longer this game drags on, the worse it is for us. Normally, against the AI, this, I think, would be a pretty bad idea because the AI really likes to drag on with battles of attrition. Jake trying to emulate the whole chat? Yeah, right. But this is the blessing, roughly, that we're going to use tomorrow for the Blitz. And that's going to be a 3v3. And I'm just going to hope that there's no spies from the enemy team in the chat right now while I reveal all of our grand plans for the Blitz. But the idea is essentially that in a 3v3, diplomacy is useless. We have 3 players on our side, 3 players on the enemy side. I will be one of the disciples. Mictlan, that is to say, what's his name? Chaziberger will be the god of our team, with me and Carl as disciples. And Chazi will be playing Mictlan as the god, I will be Vanheim as a disciple, and Carl will be Henam as a disciple. And we will have this basically shit scales with a powerful blessing to do a rush, because 3v3 has no diplomacy. It's just 3 men duking it out with 3 men. So we're going to rely on the superior nature of our secrets to try to rush down our enemies before they can get into the mid-game. Keeping it nice and simple. And obviously if we fail to do that, we'll be in a heap of trouble. I'm gonna go ahead and pick up a Vandral now so I can get some head start into my blood economy. And we want to hit Blood 4 as a research target because Storm Demons is probably the best early game blood summon you can get. Because Storm Demons have a high amount of hit points and decent defenses, and they come with a Lightning Bolt ranged attack. So you don't need to risk them every combat because they can just keep at a distance and fight that way. We're at turn 11. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 provinces, turn 11. Not great. Okay. No, Storm Demons are not a commander, they're a regular unit. We have our boars back. Yay. Now we'll go ahead and put all of our Sacreds and boars in the same army. Yeah. Keep these guys back, use them for patrolling instead. Put them with the prophet, and our prophet can go out and crack the hard provinces like these elephants. And Bragi, our enormous strength hero, can go to researching with the rest of our guys. Now, have we got any good independent recruits? We have some Deer Tribe Shaman here. Can give us some nature access. Nature 1 isn't super exciting though. I'm really hoping for some water random so we can get into the ocean, but we haven't got that yet. Unfortunate indeed. Let's go ahead and start distributing some braces of protection at least. Go for Enchantment 4. Now we can start using our Vanheirs as thugs. And I think we will. So first I'll bless themselves. Hold on. Is my research good for this? Enchantment. Air. Yeah, I'm going for Cloudropies, that's it. Okay. So they go for blessing, and then they should probably do flight. Yes, that's it. And then attack, rear. And this is a very easy and light thug script. You would look at this and you wouldn't think it's a decent thug. Like, they have good stats, sure, but they only have 14 hit points. The only reason this chassis works as a thug at all is because they have glamour. Glamour gives so much staying power, it's not even fair to elf nations. So 1 or 2 of these Vanheirs can, on their own, take down province defense pretty reliably. So, of course, because we like overkill, we're going to send 4 of them off to do the work of 1 man. And of course keep up Vanheir recruitment in the capital, and now we can start pulling out Vanadrots. And let's see. A good counter against Glamour. No, Spirit Sight does nothing against Glamour. Spirit Sight just lets you see them on the tactical map up here, the global map. But in the battlefield, Spirit Sight does nothing against Glamour. The only way to pop Glamour is to deal damage to the unit that has Glamour. So the easiest ways to do that is to either have massed Archer Fire or some big area of effect spell like Earthquake hitting the Glamoured unit. Yeah, Jake knows what I'm talking about with 3 of them taking out 100 PD. So the most reliable way to pop Glamour. Poison, I don't think so, because poison isn't an attack. I think it needs to make a check against protection to count for removing Glamour, which is why Earthquake works but poison doesn't. Again, I'm not 100% sure on that, so you might need to do some testing with, say, Middle-Aged Satis and Poison Clouds. We're going to send our Vanjarl out to start doing some blood hunting. Yeah, Cetis is a very fun nation. I might be biased because I am a big fan of skeleton spam nations, and Cetis, outside of Scaleria, is probably the best skeleton spam nation in the game, across all ages, really. But middle age it is, especially with the miasma. So much fun. So there is two ways to play Vanheim in the early age. The one is that the one I like to do, which is to recruit the Fabors because they're immortal and you get good value out of them. The second is to recruit the Mounted Herdmen because they are stealthy with a 65 stealth value, which is pretty rare on regular recruit troops. And the second reason is that these are also glamored cavalry. So even though they're not sacred, these are still incredibly sturdy units and very hard to kill for most nations. As I said though, immortality, that's just my jam. Getting units back for free? Yes please. And we'll have our glamoured thugs moving off to a second expansion party right here. See how that works out for us. Blood hunting, building palisade. Yeah, the 80 upkeep, not great. That is the big downside to them. My favorite part about using them is that once you have, let's see, nature, where is it? Alteration? Yeah, alteration level 2 for enlarge. This makes your size 3 trampling boars into size 4, which means that they can suddenly trample cavalry and half giants, and that really improves their effectiveness. So as long as you can get access to some nature in your nation, the boars can really get their value out. Oh, 9 blood slaves on a blood 1. Nice. And now here we have elephants. Elephants are, believe it or not, also a pretty good counter to glamour because they attack the entire square at once and proc the glamour. Thankfully we have a critical mass of our van here and they just chop up the elephants completely. Because van heres are ridiculous. Yeah, we lost our Fabors, they'll respawn, doesn't matter, and one van here. And then our little thug party, and I forgot to move all of them to the back. Whoops. They buff up, get flight, move to the rear, and one didn't want to fight in the rear, okay. They kill the commander, easy victory, boom. No casualties, no retreats. And doing this, you also tend to get a lot of famous heroes, so that's nice too. And as an upside, they have really good map moves. You can do stuff like this, moving across mountains, even though you don't have any adjacent connectors. Let's see, foul spawn, heavy infantry, devils, and vinemen. We have 38 sacreds. Well, there is a weakness to elf nations as well, Jake. And I will tell you right now, it's that their capital is way too important. If you rush down Vanheim's capital in the early age, can't recruit these anymore, can't recruit these anymore. The only glamoured unit they can recruit anymore is their mounted herdmen. And while they're good, they're not good enough to carry the nation, that's for sure. So a lot of the time the big weakness of Elf Nation is just going straight for the throat before they can build up a critical mass of elves. And we're gonna take the risk and go for this throne. Oh, sorry, I had to sneeze there. Blood hunting strategy. My blood hunting strategy is that this guy is going to stay here and blood hunt, and I'm going to move a regular guy over there occasionally, every second turn, or 1, 2, every third turn, to collect the blood slaves. And ideally, I want some place to recruit shitty guys to patrolling for me as well. Like here. Yeah. So here I'll be recruiting basic militia to do patrolling for me, along with a regular commander over here. He blood hunts, and then this guy moves over, collects the blood slaves, moves back. And you just do that, repeat. And then when I have my second Vanadrot out, he goes over here, another big population province, and blood hunts there. And that's the most efficient way to do blood hunting, is that you spread out to every province which has over 5,000 population, because then you get the most blood slaves out of it. The downside is, of course, that it takes a bunch of micro, which is tedious as fuck. Here we have the Thug army moving out once again. And I once again forgot to change the script. Well, that's because, Jake, blood hunting does a number on your unrest, and unrest directly affects income. So if you're blood hunting in a big population province with a bunch of people, it fucks with your income a lot. Whereas if you're just slowly accumulating blood slaves from here and there as you go along, you're not fucking with your income that much, comparatively. And you're assembling a larger group of blood slaves by the time you actually are ready to use them. That's just my personal preference though, this is not gospel. Going all in on blood hunting once you actually hit your research target is also a very reliable playstyle. It's just that I personally prefer to have some blood slaves stacked up already by the time I can make use of them. And it looks like our Vanheims are more than tough enough to expand into thrones. Oh, look at that. 38 of them, 188 kills, no losses. This is why Hellblesses are fun. This isn't even a full-on Hellbless, this is just a pseudo-Hellbless. And we get to see Ruse expanding as well. Yeah, the all-in approach is... it's viable. Yeah, I think it's just a matter of preference whether you start early or do it all at once. No fun units in Ruse army here, just some of their berserkers, the chuds. Sadly, no sacreds. Easy expansion for them as well. Ah. A slave lord is seeking absolution for his sins, and he has donated some virgins to our cause. How nice. And Lombaria completed. Alright, go ahead and upgrade the fortress. So, the reason we want to keep upgrading our forts into our palisades into forts and then castles is because we can recruit herdmen, which are a glamoured cavalry that's a recruit anywhere. So we definitely want to be doing that, and then also once we get a lab up, recruiting Vanheims to keep powering our research. Because Vanheim doesn't do a lot of research very well. If you can get into the long game against Vanheim, you're probably going to beat them in research by default. In fact, I think the only elf nation that has good research is Tiernanog and their middle-aged counterpart, Eriu. They actually get decent researchers. What have we got here? Throne of Night? Yeah, we'll claim that. Trigger some global darkness, why not? Now, let's see here if I remember my hotkeys. Shift X? No. Z? No. God damn it, what is it? Commanders. No. Unit orders. Z for put slaves in lab. V. There we go. Capital V. Put all blood slaves on commander. Then move him back. He keeps blood hunting. Perfect. Recruit some more militia. And a commander to ferry them. Scout. Keep moving that way. And we are already out of gold. Fantastic. Yeah, that's the problem of playing with death scales. You want to rush someone down real fast. Which I'm not doing right now. Front of Autumn, Throne of Night. No blood slave sound. How rude. Rus attacking yet again. No of their exciting troops. And then attack the same province. This should be interesting. So we have my little 4-man raiding force against a full Rus, well, I guess expansion party. We're gonna come in here with our flight and attack rear. Blood Surge activates immediately because they get a kill with their lances. And then Glamour keeps them mostly alive. I think I lost one of them there. Yep, lost one, killed the party. So this is the value of just Vanheims as light thugs. Especially when you have a more powerful bless like I do. You don't even need to equip them with items. Band of Robbers has been rooted out. Nice. And our boars are back again at the capital. Let's see, what is it? Z? Yes. And we'll have our militia guy start moving over to our blood hunting province with some militia. What items I would want to put on them? Let me switch real fast over to display capture and bring up the mod inspector. Now, if I were equipping my... Oh dear goodness. Yeah, these are just all the research and item targets I put together for Ind before the game. I like to do this when I'm doing a blitz, so I know what I should go for. I just need to quickly tab down and look at this. But let's clear this all out. Item. So let's restrict it to construction 4 and below. Because I'm going to assume that if you're making thugs, you don't want to go too high in research to make them. Horror Helmet is obviously the best thug item in my book possibly available. And you do have Horror Helmets available as this nation because you can get death to Vanadrots. It's a rare chance, just 1 in... I think this comes out as 1 in 20. 100% and then 1 in 10. No, 1 in 4 and then 1 in 10. 1 in 40. It's possible, but not likely. But Horror Helms, excellent. +5 fear rating is probably the best you can possibly get on any thug. Otherwise, I would just put a Black Steel Helm or an Enchanted Helmet. on a thug to give them some head protection against archers. Then for armor, the one that's most fatigue neutral is the Chithyronic Lion Pelt if you have the Nature and Earth access. However, we don't have that. So instead, I would probably get, let's see, weightless scale mail. We also get a national discount for, so this is probably what I'd get. It's only 11 body protection, but it's literally no fatigue cost. And if you are playing a nation that doesn't get weightless scale mail natural direction, a black steel full plate or a black steel plate for the big fat protection value. It is a lot of gems to put into a 14 HP unit, but the built-in glamour makes them a lot more durable than 14 HP would suggest. For shields, really the most optimal shield is the Bind Shield. No question about it. Entangles attackers, fantastic item. The only other shield I would ever consider for a thug is the Lucky Coin, which gives them the Lucky trait and also pretty good shield protection. For boots, the favorite boots for a thug from mine are Ranger boots, Nature 2 to make and Construction 2. No, Nature 1 to make, Construction 2. However, yeah, Vine Shield is just fantastic. Lucky Coin, also a very good shield with the Lucky trait. That's essentially 4 and 5 of Ignore Death. Ranger's Boots, most nations can make just by recruiting a Nature 1 random mage, independent mage. Super common, easy to get. Otherwise, I would consider Boots of the Behemoth if you have a larger Scythe thug to make them trample. Earth 1, also pretty easy to get. Weapons, there is several good options for weapons. And there's a lot of different weapons. Personally, I'm a fan of the Mace of Eruption. It's a fire one, 10 fire gems to craft, and it gives you an AoE attack, just like that. However, we are presently playing a nation that doesn't have fire access. We can get fire randoms, and if we do, we can make these. But otherwise, not gonna happen. In that case, I like to get myself a... yeah, exactly. Fire feels boring and wicked, so you don't have it. Then it feels very viable. Here we go. Stinger is my other favorite thug weapon if you don't have fire access but do have earth access. And that's because Stinger has a very high native damage value, plus attack rating, plus defense rating, 3 length, and armor piercing. So this is just basically a single target better weapon than any other built-in native weapon. Pretty cheap too on top. And if you for whatever nation don't have earth access, you can just get a regular axe of sharpness. I said axe of... Hello? Inspector 2? Okay, for some reason Axe of Sharpness is showing the Enchanted Sword. So you'll just have to presume that this is an Axe of Sharpness, but they're basically the same item. And there is also an argument for two-handed weapons, particularly the Flambeau, which is a big two-handed weapon that does a shit ton of damage with triple damage against undead and demons in an area of effect. I usually don't prefer to get this though, unless the unit is already super tanky, so it can forego the Vine Shield and Lucky Coin. And then finally, for the miscellaneous slots, there is a couple of items I prefer. The Ring of Regeneration is almost mandatory on all units, because even if you have built-in regeneration, it stacks with it. So let's say that you have a chassis that comes with 10% regen, you give it a Ring of Regen, 20% regen, it has the Earth access, nature access to cast personal regeneration, and now you have 30% regeneration. Super powerful. Even when you have no regen, giving this to a unit, even a low HP unit, is a good idea. Almost all the time. Let's see. The Amulet of Breathing, good item if you're going underwater. I'll put this down here for it's a special thing. Only requires Air 2 to make. Pretty easy if you don't have water access anyway. Amulet of Giants gets a special mention because it stacks with the Enlarge spell of nature. So if you have a size 3 thug, you can potentially make it into a size 5 thug that can become a very good trampler with Boots of the Behemoth. Then let's see here. Amulet of Resilience gets a special mention for being in Mage Communions for the Reinvigoration. Amulet of the Fish, another way to get underwater, Air 1, Water 1. Bracers of Protection, probably the most easy to make thug item for Earth Access nations. It's just a straight up 2 defense to protect 2 construction item. Nothing weak or strong about it. Simple as that. Its big brother though, if you have 2 nature access, is the Cat Charm, which is just better because it gives 4 defense and the protection of the bracers is negligible compared to the extra defense from Cat Charm. 2 nature is a lot harder to get though, unless your nation has built-in nature in it. The Dancing Trident is otherwise a really strong second misc slot item. Additional 19 damage attack at length 5 to give you repel checks, +1 defense at that. Fantastic item, only takes Air 1 and 5 air gems. It's honestly a little mind-boggling how good of an item this is for being so cheap to craft. Enchanted Salt gets an honorary mention if you're fighting one of the Jinn nations, because then you get an extra salt attack damage, which does huge damage to Jinn. Handful of Acorns, also a special mention, because this is an excellent anti-assassinate item, because it gives you 3 Vinemen present in every assassination attempt. And when it comes to assassinations, the most units wins. Simple as that. So having 3 more Vinemen will pretty much keep your mage safe from any assassin. Same with the lifelong protection, summons 2 imps. And then, where is it? Luck. Is it not construction 4? Ah, jeez, what's it called? Amulet? No? Pendants of Luck, here it is. As I said earlier, if you don't have the lucky coin, Pendant of Luck is probably what I put on the second slot of most of my thugs, because the lucky trait negates 4 out of 5 strikes that would normally kill your unit. So it's a very powerful trait to have. So here you have it, Tyrion Straz Thug Guide in a nutshell, this screen right here. Okay, let's get back to the game. We are kind of lost track there. This guy's going down there to collect some more militias. Blood hunting continues. Scout goes on. Did I claim this? Yes. And we have forced cavalries and tribe chiefs. I think we can expand into that pretty safely. Darkvine, Woodsman, and Bloodhenge Druids. We're going to expand into this farmland. We're probably going to start a war with the AI any second now, either Lanka or Rus. More likely Lanka because they're bordering us north to south. And we have a really bad scales build, so we want a war ASAP, basically. And I got really unfortunate and got an Air 4 instead of Blood 2. Air 4 is good for getting some evocations, but I would have preferred to get a Blood 2 for the blood hunting. But since we have it, we might as well climb up evocation to level 5 so we can get storm goings without having to do any communions or crazy stuff like that. We can see a fight of Kailasa too. Have we got any sacreds? Yes. Here we go. Precision, shock resist, cold resist, undying +2, swamp survival larger, invulnerability 10, inspirational and leadership. A pretty hefty bless. But the awe and invulnerability are the only combat stats that helps them. Which might not be enough against these HP sponges that Dark Vines are. No, it will not be. Yeah, so we got to see Kailasa fail expanding. Fantastic. And our own little sacred army going into a cavalry province. Popping all of our glamours early, but we have regeneration, so it's fine. Yeah, so you can easily see the power of a good blessing on Vanheim here. No casualties running into horse tribes, even when they get their last charge. And then our little Thug Force 1 moving in, I guess. More independence. One of them died instantly to exploding dice, I guess. Oh dear, this is not looking good. Yep, they just all died. Well, that can happen sometimes with naked thugs, even if you have a good blessing. And it's quite alright. It's only 3 of them. That's a 400 gold investment. Not too bad to lose. If they had been thugged out with equipment, they might have done better, but it would also have been more painful to lose them. And we're gonna go ahead and build a lab here, because this is a high population province that we want to do blood hunting in the future. And start recruiting mounted herdmen. And normally I would just send this guy into suicide somewhere, but if we do that into the AI, they're likely to interpret it as an attack, so he's just going to wait around for nothing. And we'll move our expansion party down to take that last farm province we failed to take, and potentially even this Dark Vine province. Probably set up by the vile influence of Dark Young, stretching into my game from across the ether. And here you can really see the effect of our scales coming into play, as I have no fucking gold to recruit more sacreds with. And I can tell my dwarf to stop forging bracers for now. Make a pair of boots of giant strength, because I have nothing better to make at the moment. And here we have the actual axe of sharpness. 11 damage and then a magic weapon plus strength to attack. Just a straight up good weapon. So we'll make a couple of those. And he's got good slaves already, so we'll have this Vanheim over to collect them. No, wait, we'll have this Vanheim over here to build a temple first, so I can recruit more of them. That makes more sense. This guy will pick up more militia and move over to patrol our blood hunting province. And we're really strapped for cash. The most important part is that we recruit as many Van here as possible. Yeah, and our sacred troops are just going to chew through this where our thugs fail. Easy peasy. And it looks like Rus has decided to attack the same province with a mercenary band. Should be an easy victory. And indeed it is. No casualties. Now, normally I'm not a fan of elf nations. I think their gimmick, as it is not good enough to carry them into the late game. Especially in multiplayer, because you have a basically Diplo penalty for being an elf nation, because no one likes to have elf nations in their game. So I don't normally like to play this kind of playstyle. But the real strength that you can do is that all your troops are sacred. So if I wanted to, if I dismiss this boar, I could start sneaking into enemy territory and set up a bunch of armies to be ready to attack all at the same turn before the enemy can even react. And that's what makes fighting elves so incredibly just so annoying in multiplayer, because they can set up this massive alpha strike before breaking a non-aggression pact. I cannot express in words how annoying it is to deal with elves in multiplayer. We'll start patrolling here, and we'll send over a guy to pick up the blood slaves. Right, he's built the lab and the thing, so we'll start recruiting Vanheim now. And he can research. More Vanheims and more sacreds. Yes, Chazra, I am also angry about elves. If I spawn next to an elf nation in a multiplayer game, unless I'm playing a Scales nation, I'm probably going to rush them just to keep them from being a nuisance in the mid to late game. Honestly. Transfer the slaves back to the capital. Start thugging out one of our elves. There we go. Axe of Sharpness. Big protection. Big shield. And I think the first target we probably want to fight isn't just yet. I think we'll take this throne first. Oh, Vampire Lord. Nasty. But we'll probably want to fight Lanka because we're bordering them on two fronts. So we'll keep moving our army. Dipakalika Rakshasi. Let's see a unit. Rakshasi. Capital only commander. Okay. That's a river crossing though, so we can't do that. Shame. Always try to get more Vanadrots going where possible, and otherwise recruit more Vanheers. The goal is to have Blood 2 Vanadrots blood hunting where possible. I've gotten super unlucky this game, getting Earth randoms and Death randoms instead. What can you do? What can you do indeed? I can start banning Bone Devils, which I will. Monthly Ritual Bone Devils. Because Bone Devils are actually a pretty competent Blood 1 summon. If I can spell correctly, let's see here, Devil, here we go. Spine Devils, here we go. These are what you get from summon Bone Devil. And as you can see, these are a pretty competent unit. Higher than human stats all around, 25 hit points and 2 attacks by default. So this is just a straight up good summon. The only problem is that Bone Devils... let me go back to window capture. There we go. Bone Devils require Blood 1, Death 1, so not all of your mages can cast it. And for Vanheim, very few mages can cast it because only your Vanadrots have the crosspath necessary. And that's why Vanheim Early Age isn't on my top 5 nation list, personally. Ooh, an Earth random. Can't use that yet, but we'll keep him around. And we'll tell this guy to do a monthly ritual of Bone Fiends, because we have the Blood Slaves, and we get 5 of them per cast. 5 of these units for how many Blood Slaves is it? Yeah, 5 units for 5 Blood Slaves. Very good deal. And our brave dwarf is going to keep crafting for us various thug items. Now, the question is... Well, Jake, the situation is we have a pretty strong initial expansion. We've secured 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 provinces. However, we have terrible skills. We have Death 3, Misfortune 2, Drain 3, Heat 3, Sloth 1, and Turmoil 1. So we don't want to sit in a status quo. So we're right now considering an invasion of Lanka. And I think I am about to begin that invasion right now. Because the longer this game goes on, even though we have a blood economy, the worse for us, because our scales, as mentioned, are terrible. Terrible, terrible scales. So we're going to put a bunch of our sacred units on our thugs. Have our thugs do a bunch of blessings. 3 each should be sufficient, and then a shield and attack. No, wait. Cast, fly, and then attack rear. There we go. Yeah, pretty much. And then we will take our thugs and move them to engage the enemy from 2 sides at the same time. Copy, paste. God damn it. There we go. And we'll transfer over our patrol list there and have this guy move over to collect more of those guys. Keep recruiting Vanadrots. Keep spying on our enemies. So, if you're playing in a multiplayer game with a bless like the one I have, pretty heavy bless, you want to attack the enemy as soon as possible, because your scales are awful. The longer the game goes on, actively the worse your income is going to get. However, the enemy is unlikely to be able to match you combat power for combat power on your sacreds. So right now we want to take down Lanka as quickly as possible and hope that Rus and Bandar Log, I think, no, Kailasa don't get involved. Here we go, first invasion. Bunch of our sacreds against a group of palankashas and what looks to be province defense. Luckily, their sacreds... Ah, their god has woken up. It was indeed dormant with flaming weapons and fortitude. Flaming weapons and fortitude is not nearly enough to deal with attack skill, regeneration, shock, fire resist, cold resist, defense skill, undying +6, regeneration, blood surge, dark vision, and combat speed. Van here. I just cannot overstate how powerful these sacreds are for blending up everything in their path. We only took 4 casualties the enemy actually had more numbers than we did, with sacreds involved. And then it looks like Rus are invading us, which is quite unfortunate because we just declared. Undying 6 is... that's actually a good question. I need to look at that once this battle is over. I think we win this battle. Yeah, we do. Undying plus 6, let's see here. 3, 2, no, 2, 4, 6. Yeah, Undying 6 means 12. 12 extra HP. And normally Undying, not great, but with Undying with Regeneration, fantastic. Because a unit that survives with Undying and then regenerates will still stay alive at the end of battle. Which is why I really think that Undying is a fantastic blessing when paired with Regeneration. Did they win that? What the hell? Oh, they did. Son of a bitch. Okay, so it seems we have been the victim of a really unfortunate timing. Yes, Anon, Finn. Undying undead don't need regen. But we are not Helheim, so we don't have a lot of undead. Helheim would be perfectly fine with the undead. Roos declaring war at the exact same turn we started fighting Lanka is actually quite unfortunate. Quite unfortunate indeed. We just keep forging thug items, keep scouting, keep recruiting Vanheers, keep recruiting Vanadrots and Vanheers. And if there's too many Vans in the names, I completely agree, because Vanheer and Vanadrot and Van Jarl and Van Heers doesn't get confusing at all. Haha, right? Let's have our dwarf make some axes, actually. Yeah. Oh, that's the hammer. Axe sharpness. There we go. The driver guy was wind, not van. Oh boy, that's a lot of fights. I might have gone in slightly above what I can take here, but that's part of the fun, isn't it? It's a real shame that our province defense Vanheers are just sitting back and spamming Phantasmal Warriors instead of doing useful things like going into melee and killing the monkeys. Because they could be killing these long dead warriors quite easily. Instead they're probably going to HP route. Well, just get killed. Okay. Fucking useless. Another Bandor army coming in against province defense. Let's go ahead and fast forward. Yeah, looks like another Bandar victory here. Yep, our commander recruited before he could get into the fight, which is unfortunate because he is the most powerful unit in the province defense. And our attack on Bandar, ooh, that's quite the army they have there. What was their blessing again? Flaming weapons, fortitude. Okay. I think our berserking sacreds should be able to chew through this. Oh yeah. Just look at the damage these dual wielding troops do. And remember, these are humans, size 2 with 2 attacks each. That means that you get 3 of these per square, which is 3 attacks times 2. Very powerful. Very powerful indeed. 34 of them getting 128 kills with 1 casualty. Oh yes. That's what it's all about. Oh, that's quite a Russian army coming in here. Probably going to mulch our PD. Missing all of the air fire. Okay. I'm gonna rewind here a bit. If Jake is still present in the chat, this is why archers are good against glamour. So, you can see that our Vanheim has glamour right now. Gonna fast forward a second. And now the archer fire comes in. Initially misses because it's at awful long range. And there we go. 1 hit, glamour is gone. Just like that. So that's really all of it takes. 1 hit from an archer when there's a bunch of them firing. And it doesn't matter how good the glamour is. Just 1 hit is all it takes to dispel all of the glamour at once. And that's why masked archers or slings or blowpipes, anything ranged is so efficient against elves. Because anything that deals damage will instantly dispel all of the glamour. And you can see it here too. Glamour gone, boom, archers. And then they can't actually kill him, but he retreats anyway. Oh, barbarians are practicing a large-scale attack in Oak Beach. Yeah, I hate that event. God damn it, I don't have the money to deal with this. Fighting Rus and Lanka at the same time. This is quite the pickle I'm in. Okay, let's make some more axes of sharpness. This guy still has a good sizable chunk of forces, 6 PD, and keep invading Lanka. I'm just going to go with a strategy of ignoring Rus and hope that someone else attacks him and distracts him while I attack Lanka. That usually works with the AI. I don't even know who the 4th AI is yet. Alright, there's only 3 AI. Kailasa, of course. So hopefully Kailasa will be attacking Rus in the back and give me some leeway soon. Pick up our patrol chaff, move them over, and have one of our guys ready to pick up the blood chaff. How's the research going? Blood magic about to hit 4, which is important because level 4 gives us storm demons, which we have a lot of air to cast. Bloodlust, yeah, it's a decent battlefield buff for demons, I guess. I don't think I'd ever give a demon enough blood slaves to cast it, but it's okay. Serpent Fiends, also pretty good summons if you don't have the access of storm demons, otherwise always summon storm demons. And Qual Horror, it's a good spell. Problem is that Qual Horror also attacks your troops. So do that if you're outnumbered, not otherwise. It is an amazing trade, but it only affects demons. So if you have a big demon army, it's worth it. Otherwise, not so much. Like Lanka, yes. Lanka benefits a lot from it. Oh, we got the birds coming in. Everyone's favorite. Ugh, great talks. Hopefully, our elf commanders of the PD should be tough enough to deal with birds. Yes, so they are. Birds mean nothing to elves. Oh, I'm fully aware how mad you were at birds for the first game. I was in the Yomi game chat advising you on how to deal with birds. You weren't listening to a lot of the advice then, but you were a second time player at that point, I think. So it's fair enough. This is looking, yep, it retreats. Took down, yeah, that's a mostly undead chaff from Lanka coming in. Lanka is honestly a huge pain in the ass because they're gonna keep bringing in a ton of undead chaff. And undead would deal with Glamour Elves pretty efficiently because undead are never going to HP route. They're just going to keep fighting. And eventually, sooner or later, bring down the Vanheims. Oh wow, that's a big Rus army. Holy crap. I was really hoping to not do a two-front war, but it looks like I have to. Unfortunately. No casualties. Ugh. And then we have my attack coming in on the demon monkeys. And the Vanheims should, in theory, mulch through all these monkeys without any opposition. And so they do, one casualty. Wait, what? Oh, that's them attacking me. Okay. This is a mercenary band, the archers, long shots, or whatever they're called. I hate that the PD sits around spamming useless spells, but whatever, they still won. So, that's something at least. Ooh, wow. Now that's Misfortune 2 working in my favor. One point of order, even if you're building a helpless, never ever, in any circumstance, take Misfortune 3. Because there is just the worst possible events that can only trigger if you take Misfortune 3. So, to anyone tuning in, never ever ever tank Fortune Scales all the way to Misfortune 3. It's not worth it. Not even remotely. Ripe woods. Let's see, hotkey 4. Oh. There we go. I think I'll be better served continuing my offensive. But then again, Rus is pushing pretty hard against me and I do need the income. Yeah, I'll pull back for now and deal with the Rus armies until they fuck off and deal with another front line. Let's see if they have another front line first. Oh, and I fucked up and forgot to tell these guys to attack province instead of sneak. Whoops. You take the blood slaves, move to the capital. Throne of Law, okay. Ah, more birds. Thankfully, Vanheim, I don't think they even can lose against the birds with the Vanhears. Like, even without a blessing, this is just such a sturdy province defense commander. Yep, there we go. No casualties. Got some blood slaves, lose some crippled units, and then fight time. Lanka with a small force of skeletons and monkeys against my province defense. And skeletons win. And this is another weakness of at least Vanheim as far as Elf Nations is concerned. Because Vanheim, if I go back to the recruit screen here, their best priest is a priest level 2 that takes 2 turns to recruit. And you could also recruit Vanjals once per turn. But they're still not good priests. 2 is the best they can get, so they're not good at dealing with undead. They just straight up fail against undead spam. Oh, we got some more fights against Lanka here. Looks like some of their Bandar warriors and Kalamuka without any priests to bless them. Interesting choice from the AI. As well as some province defense archers and Makarta archers. My sacreds are of course going to completely blender them into a fine mist. Yeah, 1 casualty. There we go. That's the good shit. And then a very big attack force from Rus into my PD. Foregone conclusion. Kicks their ass, boom. Oh, fat casualties though. Population down. Black Bow of Botulf. What is that? Oh, and then prevent attack, okay. Oh, it's the Feeble Mind Bow. So, normally I would never give a bow to a thug chassis. The Black Bow of Botulf, however, has the unique property of rendering anyone it hits feeble-minded. And that means that it's a great counter-thug bow. Because if you hit a super combatant with this bow, they're going to immediately forget all of their magic paths and basically start sucking. So, we're going to give that bow to one of our unequipped Vanhears. Even though his precision is only 10. And he will keep a hold of that for now. Oh boy. You go up to patrol. Z. There we go. Move up again. Wow, are you kidding me? 2-4 air before any blood 2s? Oh my god. Ugh. Okay, so this is terrible, terrible luck with the capital recruitment. Let's see, what have we got in the treasury? Missing a helmet, so we'll make a black steel helmet. Then 1 in 40, yeah, exactly. So the blood 2s are really what's important for this nation, but I've been very unfortunate in not getting more blood 2s because blood 2s blood hunt about 60% more efficiently than blood 1s do. So I'd really been hoping to get more blood 2s by now than I have. So I guess for now we'll make use of our blood slaves and keep binding bone fiends with our blood death guys. And since Roos really doesn't want to let us be alone, we're gonna have to fight back against them. Dowsing rods I would usually go for, but our dwarves with Mastersmith doesn't get blood. Although, you there, forge. Is Dowsing rod blood too? Let's see. Sanguine Dowsing Rod, blood 1. The hell? Ah, construction 4. There we go. So, yeah, I'm gonna go for evocation level 4 first, so I can start doing thunder strikes, and then I'll get sanguine Dowsing Rods. Oh boy. Ah, more birds. Fantastic. PD should be able to handle birds unless my commander gets very unlucky. There he goes. Nice. Yeah. Yeah, I have a little bit of a stuffed nose at the moment. Not, I wouldn't say a cold, just a bit congested. You know how it is. Especially in the winter. So yeah, these are the bone fiends I recruited earlier. Pretty good. Wait, no. These are the enemy bone fiends. Right, Roos. I haven't recruited any bone fiends. Silly me. Yeah, bone fiends is a pretty good way of using your gems too. Let's see here. Bone Fiend. Yeah, that's a summon that takes blood 2. I should probably switch to the right spell. They are from magic side. Let's see here. Display capture. Here we go. So, Bone Fiends. You can either get them from this magic site, which is the Death 2 site that you can enter to get Bone Fiends, or from Bind Bone Fiend level 2 Blood. Blood 1, Death 1. And it's actually a pretty efficient way to Skella spam if you're not a Blood Nation. Siege stats? Let me check. Go back to Dom 5 capture. And let's check their strength. Siege strength of 2.5, but 0.1 siege defense. So Bone Fiends would actually make very excellent siege chaff if you're on the attacking side. But just as random attacking units, 0 protection, I wouldn't use them as the AI does, to say the least. Here we have our first proper fight in the entire war. Yeah, you're right, Jake. I think ghouls are the only spammable summons that have more than 0.1 siege defense. And here we have our first big fight where our sacreds really get to prove their mettle by cutting down superior enemy numbers. And cut them down they do. Oh yes. Look at that. 147 invading enemies, they kill 6 of our own, and we get 108 kills with 35 Vanheims. That is the power of the Vanheims with a good blessing. Next we have to fight Silver Wall. Not looking quite as well here, just some province defense that's probably going to get mulched. Yeah, archers popping the glamour, commander retreats, it's all over. No casualties even. And then my attack on Roos in Stone Heavens. Just some PD. Not even gonna bother watching the fight. No casualties. Vanheims, powerful. There we go. Ooh, very small force of monkeys against my PD. That might actually be an even fight for once. Small monkeys getting around the back. Come on. What? Yeah. Yeah. There we go. For once, my shitty PD actually won a fight. Feels good. Okay, we got shield, helmet, weapon. So let's go ahead and make another armor. Put all the patrollers on the... Oh, he's already full up. Oh my god, are you kidding me? Not another blend too? Okay. Let's cancel recruitment of more militia in that case. And have this guy start moving back to pick them up. This is a pretty rough position to be in. Recruit some more van here, but our income is absolutely trash. So let's try to secure a connection to the old coast so we can get some income from this province. And retake some of our lost territory. We're gonna patrol with 40 troops, good. Burning Bone Devils. Do you mean against my my own secrets? With the strong breast that I have, Jake? You guys this guy? Yeah, so okay, I need to take a moment to think about this. So we have elves with very good elemental resist, shock resist, fire resist, cold resist, swiftness, undying 3, regen, and blood surge. Okay, let's switch over to the display capture, and I can look at the, here we go, the inspector. So if I was dealing with this, spells is definitely the way to go, because oh boy, this is a very powerful blessing. Now if I was a Death Nation, I would go for Shadow Blasts. It's evocation 5, so not super early in the tree, but it's an AoE 6 plus half the level of your Death Mage, so it's very big AoE, and it does damage and paralyze. So it ignores almost all of the defenses that our blessed troops have. Very strong counter if you have Death 2 mages. If I had air mages, on the other hand, now they have lightning resist, shock resist plus 10. So thunder strikes deal a base damage, let's see, of 26 plus this mage level. So even with 10 shock resist of fire and shock resist that I have, Thunderstrike still works. So Evo 4 shock mages with air skill 3 will do a ton of damage to these sacreds. Now let's see. Combat spells, all skills, death. Otherwise, I would get, let's see, enchantment. If you are a Death Nation that has access to Death 2, raise Dead at enchantment 4, and then a Horde of Skeletons at enchantment 5. is a pretty reliable way of spamming the enemy down with a shit ton of free skeletons that doesn't cost any gems at all. And as a bonus, you get to cast Rigor Mortis as an enchantment 6. That makes all units on the battlefield take 10 armor negating fatigue damage, except for inanimates and undead. So that's perfect for skeleton spam nations. As for nations that don't have access to death or air or earth or fire, that's gonna be a bit tougher. Let's see. Nature, Alteration. Yeah, Nature 4 with one single gem can spam out bugs. This doesn't look like a great spell on the tin. You're summoning bugs for a nature gem, but you get 20 bugs per cast for a single nature gem. So if you just have 5 mages with a nature gem each spamming this spell, you get 100 bugs per turn. This is a very underrated nature spell that can seriously spam out even the spammiest of undead nations. And of course, if you're an astral nation, you can just go Evocation and go for Evo 5 Stellar Cascades, strong 5 area effect AoE combat cast. And you can even put your mages in a communion because you're an astral nation. Easy peasy. Okay, let's go back to Dom 5 capture. Got Lanka coming in here again with larger armies than I would like to deal with, unfortunately. Yeah, they're just gonna mop this PD up nice and easy. No suitable blood slaves? Fucking useless blood searcher. Our attack into their woodsmen and Rusian warriors should go almost flawless. Yeah, our van here again proving to be the superior infantry with their berserk rating, regeneration, and basically everything stacked in their favor. No casualties, 68 enemy deaths. This just goes to show how strong the Vanheim in early age really are. And this is Rus attacking again with their skeletons against my province defense. I think they're gonna win. Yep, there they go. No casualties, as expected. And another of my parties against Lanka, who scripted their Palankasha to retreat. No. They routed from... Wait, hang on. What? Turtle Chief, Vandar Commander. Why are they routing? I'm not sure why, but their palanca. Oh! Oh! Oh, you're right, they don't have any other command. So all their sacreds are useless. I was going to root for you and Carl tomorrow, but I can't support these Vanheim war crimes. Well, I'm sorry, Chazral. In a 3v3, there's just a single matter of fact: the one who can fight the strongest in the early game is going to win. And we're going to bring a very strong blessing to the field in the early game. That's all I can say on the matter. And once again, Lanka with no one to command the Palankachas retreat. My Vanheirs go in strong and they kill everything. And here we have some light militia PD. They're going to die against undeads. Yep, there they go, rotting almost immediately. RIP PD. So negative events doesn't matter. Oh dear, that's not a good place to be. Huh. Okay, let's go ahead and take some of our elves with a thugged out commander. Tell him to cast Blast once. And then Flight, and then attack rare. With his troops to attack closest. Now box, because I can't do any better, and he will be in the rear. So he doesn't get sniped. And heal, move over there. Z, transfer blood slaves, keep summoning. We got a sizable amount of bone fiends now. That's good. We could use air to summon bone demons now. Okay, so you research. Cast storm demon. Wait, monthly. Oh, that's crafting. Never mind. Month. No, hang on. There has to be a hotkey for this. Unit orders, monthly ritual M, capital M. Okay, capital M, storm demon. There we go. But he's a blood too. That's a 13,000 population. Okay, you are going to go for their blood hunt foremost. Well, oh, we came up with the hotkey for forging, I think. Let's see, dwarf. Oh, yes, monthly forging. And then capital M. Let's say this guy for monthly ritual. Yes, correct. Rus isn't having the problems I would like them to have with getting attacked by other nations. Quite unfortunate. Oh, hold on. You're not sneaking, you're attacking. There we go. Oh dear. Attack there. Get some PD going. Oh my god, I have so little gold. Oh, 70 gold. Oh jeez, I can't even afford to recruit. Oh no. Okay, cancel these. I would rather have capital sacreds. Oh my god. At least we have a number of bone fiends that I will use in the future. Go back there. Forge an axe of sharpness and enter. Okay, I'm gonna quickly go to the toilet. I'll be right back. Alright, I return. Victorious, hopefully. So let's see what we have going on. Birds, apparently. Birds that, yet again, shouldn't be able to attack our province defense. No, looks like our van here is gonna be all right. Mm-hmm. Some big raid against Bruce PD. But I believe in our sacreds. Yep, there we go. No casualties. And Bruce raiding us with undead here. And sadly, they win against PD. Unfortunately. More PD victories. I'm not even gonna bother showing them in a full fight. Our non-sacred Cavalry troops win easily. Oh, and we have a big fight in Oaklands. And really, this once again displays the power of our sacreds. When they, with quite superior numbers against them, bring the victory. I think we're gonna go ahead and save and quit here for now though, because whew, I am fucking beat. I was up at 6 AM this morning. I played way too late Gemcraft last night, and I am beat in every sense of the word. Yeah, lack of sleeping really catching up. So, if nothing else, I'll catch you all tomorrow at 1600 Central European Time or GMT +1 for the 3v3 Blitz. I'll see you then. Bye.